Come on, Miss Gowdy, hit the gavel. Let's get started.
Come on. You know, it's weird. Any mail in my box got you guys? Huh? You don't remember?
Oh,
Personnel and appointment committee is
now underway. Call to order. Okay, come on, Miss Gowdy.
Shut up.
personnel and appointment committee is now
It's now called to order.
called to order. Is now called to order. Dr. Guy, can you call it at 6:35? Council Barnes,
Present.
Gowdy, present.
Give my
Oh, present. We have our Mayor King, present, for the administration, and Willa Hemmons, our law director. Remarks of the public agenda on 2 minutes.
I'm excited about some of the discussion today. I hope that we can have some good dialogue on, on some of these topics like the police chases. That's an extremely hot topic in the city right now. Cleveland's came into the city at least 2 times and either caused or participated some way in the death of someone. At first it was Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams, 2 unarmed people, and they were slaughtered in a parking lot of middle school. And then recently the police chased into our city because someone had stole a car from a lady, which they could have called the chase off, and you can find the guys who stole the car later. It's not worth flying through the city. I believe that the current policy that's in place, kind of vague, it's not strict enough, and I'm grateful that we will discuss a little bit about it today if, what's his name is here. Also, I don't know what's going on with the employee identification badges. Is that on there because you would like employees to wear badges when they come into the building? If so, I want to know a little bit about that. Just a little. The chief of staff position, the description of it. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully he's here to respond to that, because when I last checked the salary ordinance, there was no money allocated or a position for the chief of staff, so I want to know why are we paying him since I didn't see it in there. I don't know if maybe a criminal complaint or some type of complaint needs to be filed, but that needs to be addressed, and that's pretty much it.
My question is in reference to whether the administration was cognizant of you requesting, I guess, the police chief as well as the finance or the personnel person, I believe is Belinda Cowell, if my number serves me correctly, to be here at personnel meeting. And I'm also concerned about the hot pursuits. And as previous person stated prior to my coming here, that Cleveland has caused the death of 3 persons in the city of East Cleveland. And it appears that from chasing in hot pursuit of people. And I feel that the only way that we should permit, and other cities are not permitting people to come through their city just chasing up the car because they think they are identified or just because someone stole a car. It must be either a criminal case or something of that nature, or a person may be intoxicated to enter into other cities. And I have done some research, And even Cleveland also on that list as far as what you can come into their city to do. And so we need to put those laws in place, and I applaud you for putting it on the agenda in your budget to discuss this matter. There must be defined what you can enter into our city chasing someone in hot pursuit, whatever. So they just, to me, it just, East Cleveland is the, they just do not have any concerns or care about the city and the residents in the city. And you also must stipulate as to whether residents or commercial areas that they cannot do that pursuit in those particular areas or whatever, or the supervisor have the authority to
I'll give you 2 more minutes.
The supervisor, which I know when policemen are in pursuit of people, they adrenaline get to going. So they get really into it. That's why you have supervisors that should have a cool, level head to say, just eliminate the chase or whatever. So I hope that when you begin to draft the legislation, you're going to put it into place. I have no problem of helping you, assist you in doing so.
Thank you. Was looking for Gardner. I asked for him to show today, and he's not here. And I also asked for Belinda to show, but the mayor is here. I want to talk about the employee badges that they wear, because I have some kind of concern about their identity not being shown walking the hallways and stuff like that.
Can we, Madam Chairman, can we go back to the police policy, no chase, before we move to the next item? I wanted to state publicly that there was a meeting last week in Cleveland with the chief of police, Calvin Williams, I think is his name, and they had it at a church in Parkwood. I didn't attend the meeting, but I did hear it on the radio, where he stipulated that in some situations there have to be chases. So here's where I'm at with the chase situation. I felt that in the Melissa Williams, Timothy Russell situation, that our police should have been notified, and he could have been blocked in, and he should have took it over. That never happened. I also feel that if a police department from another municipality, Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, etc., if they're coming in our city on a chase, that they should notify our police. And to me, the most practical situation is to have the police department block them in. But to fly through the city at 50, 60 miles per hour chasing somebody, and the person that you, after their adrenaline is going to, and they're scared, especially a 15-year-old, it's my hope that not only this council, but the council of Cleveland, we collaborate, the mayors, the council people, and come up with a policy that would be more safer for both cities. Okay. The Timothy Russell, Melissa Williams situation was a disaster. Not only did they come in here, but they got up on cars and shot people 137 times. They didn't even have a weapon. All on adrenaline. In the situation of a 15-year-old, can you imagine what you're like when you're 15? You're wild, you're young, and he was scared. He's probably scared to hell, scared to death. And they chasing him. So the first thing that crossed my mind was, why didn't they just notify our police and block him in? If he's blocked, he can't get away. But to fly through Euclid Avenue, a major artery in our city, our major artery, chasing somebody at 50, 60 miles per hour was crazy. Especially, he didn't kill nobody. He carjacked a car. So there's got to be some common sense in this situation. So we must do something about this so it doesn't happen again. So I wanted to put that out there because I think ultimately the underscoring idea is discretion. Discretion, 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 discretion when it comes to these chases. And it's not just only happening, it's happening all over the country, chasing people and people getting out of control. So I needed to put that out here.
Thank you.
Yes.
In my opinion also is when I asked for Gardner to come a week ago, and that was my request. He should have been here to address this because the policy needs to be stricken, and it should never had to come this far for another killing. This is very important, and I'm gonna follow up on this, and we will have to do something about this. We will not, and I'm really addressing the mayor about this situation because people is getting killed. And money cannot bring nobody back. So anybody else, you have something to say?
I have a question. What is, for the record, what is our policy when it comes to a chase when another municipality is coming to our city, or we're chasing someone in another municipality, like we might be chasing somebody from East Cleveland, What do we have a policy? I'm not sure.
Miss County.
I guess I have to make that to the
Here you go, Mayor. For the record, could you read, the no chase policy?
What
And,
is it, 104.001?
yeah, and 104.200.
I can read it if he doesn't. I'll
Well,
read
let
it.
the mayor read it first, give him a chance.
It's
Thank
right
you.
there.
So what I'd like to say to the council, and in particular, Councilwoman Gallo, this subject matter is better suited for health and safety. This is not really a personnel appointment committee subject. More than willing to talk about it in its proper committee. In regards to the chief of staff and the description, the chief of staff, as with a number of other employees, serve at the pleasure of the mayor. There is no job description for the chief of staff and a number of employees, as basically, to put it in simple terms, that they do what they're instructed to do, what I asked them to do. Now, there were a number of staff who were requested to come here tonight to deal with some of this. You know, and I would simply say that in regards to police chasing, continuing education in police, smart policing is needed. However, again, that is a topic that's better suited for health and safety. Now, the reason none of the employees are here, including police, our human resource, our chief of staff, none of the employees will come to any of your meetings. So, when you think of us as elected officials, we've been saying it for years, we're a team. We're teamwork, move this city forward, right? What you did with that paper and those lies, fake news, right? You owe everyone an apology. It is simply unacceptable. We will not acquiesce to your demands.
That's obstruction.
Now, for your committee, you sent in requests for documents and information. We will give you any documents you want. We won't create any documents for you. We won't assist you in any way, shape, or form. We give you whatever document you request. You owe people an apology
No.
for what you did to them in that paper. And as such, none of the employees will attend any of your committee meetings.
That's obstruction.
Yes, it
and I'm gonna
is.
file a criminal complaint. That's a
All the records right here.
No,
In fact, I'm leaving.
In fact, I
You have
am
a good-
your,
have a good
I
evening,
am
Scotty.
your employee.
Quiet.
I am your boss. And you cannot run this city without us. We pay your
I'm elected
salary.
just like you are. You're not my
Like
boss.
like the city
Can we move
need
on?
more people to stand up for what is right than what is wrong. You are wrong. And if they don't do what I ask them to do, the police will be after them.
Okay, can we move on?
I don't owe nobody apology. The newspaper had came out, and if he got offended, he should never took down the lights without us knowing it. And I will not, under no kind of respect for him, to take back of what I feel that the city needs to know. The news is out. We got more news to come, and if you like it or not,
Yeah, it's called freedom
it's going to
of
be
speech.
freedom of speech, and it's going to be nothing but the truth. And if he don't like the truth, he needs to go. He don't need to be in office.
Okay, continue, let's go. to-
So I'm going to continue on.
No, I think, Madam Chairman, I think this
She's
needs to be
leaving, she
read
has,
for the
this is
record.
obstruction, I'm glad we get this on
Okay,
tape.
listen for a second, everyone, because this is a policy from the East Cleveland Police Department, whether they're here or not. It's section 104.01, it says policy. I'm gonna read this for the record. The City of East Cleveland police officers shall engage in motor vehicle pursuits only,
On.
and it's underscored, when the necessity for the immediate apprehension of the suspected offender or violator outweighs the level of danger created by the pursuit itself. A pursuit shall be avoided or terminated whenever the danger exceeds the need for apprehension. Whenever possible, officers not directly involved in the motor vehicle pursuit shall take reasonable action to alert and control other traffic or intersections or other hazardous points along the anticipated route of the pursuit. Now that's policy 104.0, the East Cleveland Police Department here.
Okay.
And that's our policy. That's the city of
And,
East Cleveland.
and it need to be stricken because they feel like they can come over here and do whatever they want to do anytime. And we need to put in stricter policy that they cannot come over here without notifying our police officers and let them know what's going on. So, we definitely need to work on that. So I'm for whatever it's gonna take for the safety of our people. Because the death, you can't bring nobody back. But we definitely need to have a stricter policy. And that's what I wanted to ask Gardner. And far as Smithley, nowhere in our ordinance that there is a chief of staff. Nowhere. And he's getting paid for a position that don't even exist. And I want to know, why is he getting paid for something that don't even exist? I mean, that's what's wrong with the mayor. He's mad because I'm pulling the carpet to the plate. So everybody would know that this position that Michael Smithley got, don't exist. And that's why he's not here today. He probably is at the Millionaire Row talking to them because he had an appointment there. But I'm letting him know that if he don't step down off of that position, we will be going further with this, with some action.
You don't have a clerk here recording, you may have to go into executive session to discuss.
did she leave?
She left because they told her to, so that's illegal, that's obstruction of justice, obstruction of official business. And she's supposed to be here to take minutes, whether this is recorded or not. She has to be here to take the minutes. So you may want to go into executive, right, you may want to talk with Ms. Hemmings.
Yes, I'm calling executive session.
You have to ask her as appropriate.
What is the personnel matter being discussed?
No, our clerk walked out where she should never walk out. She worked for us. She got 5 bosses. And she should never walk out, see, and, she got a personal agenda, and I don't owe nobody apology for what I have done, and if I have to do it again to bring the news to the people, I will do it again and again. Because I'm not bowing down to mess. Those traffic lights should never been taken down without something being put up. And it caused a lot of accidents out there. And that's on record.
Madam Chairman, I would suggest that, since the council president is here, since we probably need to have a special meeting with just the council people in reference to the clerk leaving without telling anybody I didn't know she had left. Unfortunately, and factually, there's 2 branches of government here. The executive branch run by the mayor, and the legislative branch with 5 council people. There's 2 separate branches of government. We interact, but we act different. We have our own rules and regulations that we go by. There's 5 of us and there's 1 of you. So,
She's coming back, she was told.
Well, I didn't want to cut you off.
Okay.
But I knew she was leaving at a certain time.
Oh, you did? Okay.
She didn't let the chair know.
I'm the
That's
chair.
crap. She
I'm the
wasn't
chair.
leaving that.
She should have let me know.
Yeah.
So this is some stuff that y'all is doing on your own, but guess what, at the end of the day, she still got the answer to me.
Excuse me, are you still in the meeting or you just?
Yeah, the meeting's still going on.
It's still going on.
Here she is. Are you leaving or? Oh, okay.
But if you have to let us know when you leave. please.
No,
Thank
you all
for
are
the
in the
record.
meeting. You all
For the
conducting
record,
your
everybody's
meeting.
back.
You know, I conducted your meeting.
So,
And if you still have to leave, I just let them know that you let me know that you have to leave.
Brother Smith, she let us all know. It's only 5 of us, it's only 3 at this table. If she's gonna leave, just let us know.
well, she didn't let me know, and I've been with her all week. That she had to go.
Please go on with your meeting.
This is my chair.
I'll keep reading on that.
Call to order. Far as, the employee identification badges, I have some concerns about that. People is running in and out of this building and don't wear hardly no badges. We don't even know who they is. For the safety of the employees, they need to have a badge on to recognize what office they work in. And I have big concerns about that. So that's why this is on.
I like to put my 2 cents in. Since I've been on this council 26 years, we've had badges. I've got some at home from old these Cleveland badges that we used to have. I think it's a great idea that all employees have a badge. Almost everywhere you go, people got a badge around their neck or they tape it to their clothing. And I think that would be a plus. I don't think it'll be too take a picture just like on your driver's license, saying Gerald Silvera, Human Resources, or Latik Shabazz, Chief Assistant to the Mayor. And I think everyone should be open to that. I think that's a great idea that we have badges. Okay. So, but it has to be, Chairman, a collaboration
Yes.
between, because they're different branch of government.
Mhm.
We definitely can have our own badges for the council. We don't have their permission, have to get their permission to do that. But for him to get his less than 200 employees to do it, you gotta have his cooperation.
Okay,
So-
but that's okay.
But
We can write
he's got to be able to sit down and have a conversation
Yes.
about it.
Yes, we
Okay.
can write it in legislation. So, the marks,
So I want to suggest to you that you get Dr. Guy to notify the mayor that if it's a consensus of this group that we like to, everyone should have ID badges, and they should be worn on in this building.
and that's good.
Right.
And Dr. Guy, we need your help in that area. Thank you. And also,
Now I want to say something about your chief of
if you have
staff
anything else to say.
description. For years, that's been an issue, everyone on this council, whether he's in the salary ordinance or what his duties are. Our former mayor, Eric Brewer, was chief of staff under Ottawa. So the position has been there. We just have never really made a major, well,
The position never been there, just as something they use.
right. So we can set the policy. I think we need to say, I think in terms of what the position has been doing, I would have to be objective and say that it's a crucial position, and it's been helping our city move forward under the leadership of Michael Smedley, and we got key players coming in the city. And if you attend these meetings, he is a key piece to this whole operation. So we need to clean that up and work with him as the city moves forward. What I've observed the years that he's been here is whether you like him or not, he gets things done. He gets players in here. He is a key piece to the administration. So if we need to clear up his job description, his duties, put it in the salary ordinance, we need to do that. But he is a key piece to this operation, and that needs to be stated, and I say that objectively. Okay?
And Ernest, you have anything that you want to say? Okay, I understand that he's the key, but if it's not in writing, his position, then we cannot pay him because it's not in the ordinance. So, I mean, he could be the key person. We got a lot of key persons out here. We got a lot of great people out here, and they could be the best. But getting paid and don't have the proper identity, he's cheating the system. That money can go somewhere else.
And what we need to do is clean up his job description. Okay? In the salary ordinance, there's ranges. Let's say 35,000 to 70,000, whatever. We need to clear all that up. But we need that position to exist because it's so vital to the growth of the city, and the city is moving in the right direction. So we can clean that up. That's more of a policy, putting things in place, cleaning up the salary ordinance, and that. And that can be done. And that's, again, a collaboration. Not just us, but working with the mayor, because he does work with the mayor.
We can agree and disagree, but I'm just saying the mayor's supposed to really run this city, not Smedley. And
Okay,
I mean,
I'm
even
not
if
saying
his position is so great, you know, it's just he's getting paid money, top money. He's getting paid more than the mayor getting paid, top money, and the mayor assistant is getting paid, you know, money, you know, and she just got a $4 raise, you know, so you know she's caring. It's something have to be done with everything, you know.
Okay, then how do we make progress?
Well, we have to do the policy.
You got to sit down with the administration, with especially the mayor, since he's the boss, and let's clean this up.
Okay.
Okay, so there's got to be dialogue. All right, there's got to be dialogue. Okay, so this is nothing new about this, Brother Smith. This has come up over the years before. Is it a salary ordinance? Is it a real position? Et cetera, et cetera. So, but if we don't, and this is important, if we don't have an exchange of dialogue and conversation, we get nowhere. Okay, the mayor leaving like he did, and nobody showing up. We can't. There's no progress, and that's always been a concern of mine. Is that no matter whether we agree or not, that we're open enough to have the dialogue where we can make some progress. So we're gonna, after this meeting is over, we're gonna have to reach out and have a conversation to make some progress on the job description, on the employee identification badges, and on the police chase. And these are vitally important. I didn't deal with the police chase per se because I've been struggling for months just to get the speed reduced.
Mhm.
And it's been a struggle.
Yes, it
But I
is.
understand that government for the people, by the people is not an easy thing, and we don't always agree on anything. But I've been patient enough, and we're going to vote on this thing next month. But it's been months to get there. Okay, so but you can't get there if we don't have any dialogue. Okay, so going back, not to be redundant, Madam Chairman, the police chase need to be with the administration. Identification badges are definitely needed. We can do our own. We need our own badges. The clerk and the council people. The chief of staff, we need to work on a job description of what he does. Okay, make sure it's in the salary orders and all like that. Okay, we need a copy of the salary orders. Haven't seen the salary orders in a while. Okay, so these are important conversations and important topics. The chase is definitely important because it's been stated 3 people got killed. Ernest Smith and I have been to a number of vigils up at Heritage Middle School on Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams. And this situation has happened some months ago on Euclid Avenue with a 15-year-old. It's tragic. So once we get our thing in place, then we need to reach out to Cleveland because they're working on some things too on the chase. I know Blaine Griffin is doing some things with it. So, but
We need a stricter policy.
yeah, we got to work together. If we don't have dialogue, we can't get anywhere. So I need to make that point. Okay.
Well,
Remarks of the public.
I want to say it's unfortunate. This is your first meeting as a new council person. It's unfortunate that you had to deal with this, but we'll get through this. Okay. So you have the discretion. If you don't have to wait another month to have another meeting, you can have a meeting whenever you want to.
okay,
Okay. So,
no problem.
but the next meeting, you got to have the cooperation of the mayor or these other individuals not going to show. So you're going to have to sit down with him and make some kind of peace with him. That's just how this government thing works. Okay? So the chase, again, is paramount. Identification badges is a great idea. I'm bringing it home, and then the job description. All these things are doable. Okay. All right.
Remarks and requests from the public. 3 minutes.
3 minutes according to the charter.
Good evening, Council. Kelvin Irby, 14802 Elm Husband. First of all, the disrespect that Mr. Martin is showing is highly unacceptable. In order to maintain common and core, you have the utmost disrespect to your counselor. If she's in a meeting that requires the following people to be here, and if they are not here, she should call an executive session and order them to be here. This is what we're paying for. For you to sit here and blast that we need the mayor here to cooperate. What you don't understand in 20 years that you've been here, that you are his boss. And if he walks out of here, yes, he has no legal say-so, but staff is still supposed to be here. This meeting doesn't say mayor only. This says staff. So don't disrespect your counselor and don't sit over here and say you have to work with him because he has to get his staff here. If not, he don't work here. And I say this nicely. Those that voted you in will vote you out.
You know what?
No, you cannot speak against
I'm
me.
going to speak.
And you can speak against me when it's
now,
your
when
turn.
my time comes
Your
up.
turn.
Okay.
And I applaud you, Mr. Smith, for not saying anything. I thank you for not saying anything. Because you know how we go. We say it, we leave it out in the street. Ms. Gowdy, you have the power. This is your meeting. Nobody can tell you exactly what you shouldn't do. If you want to cover a speeding chase, and it should be no school zones and school times, it shouldn't be. Yes, that should have stopped way back out in Brook Park where it took off from. It shouldn't have got to East Cleveland. They should have never came into our city. And that's something that you guys should have made sure that's in black and white. You've been here 20 years, and still you haven't changed anything. You want to tap dance around the truth. And if you want to take it there, I'll go there after the meeting. Now, let's talk about employee badges. Yes, you should have had badges. You should be in uniform. Coming here in front of the public people, t-shirts, sweatshirts, make us look bad. Make us look terrible. The chief of staff position, if there's no salary ordinance for him, he don't belong here. You've continuously followed what failure mayors have done for this city. Outside here, we got houses that need to be down, and people are doing drugs on our street, and there's no change. A police chief that we want to talk to, this is what our tax dollars are paying for. He's not here. I don't want to see a tenable security guard pulling up to my house when I got a problem with what's on my street. That's what you need to understand as a counselor. And if you don't want the position, quit now, because we're going to put a petition together to remove the entire staff. Only reason Ms. Gowdy can't go because she just got here. But when it's her time, if she ain't pulling her job, we will pull the petitions. We are tired, we are sick of it, we are fed up.
Good afternoon, councilors. Good afternoon. My name is Gerald Silvera, 2203 Lee Boulevard. This committee is a very important committee. It oversees all personnel and appointment issues. I served as chairman of the audit committee for the city of East Cleveland during the time when Norton was mayor. And we documented more than $500,000 in unauthorized personnel-related expenditures. So, following the salary ordinance, making sure that every official position is documented and paid within the salary range and not over the range is very important, because it causes legal and potential audit issues that this city cannot afford to deal with. So I encourage you to review that salary ordinance, get a detailed roster report of every employee in this city, documenting what their base salary is, what the position is, the benefit structure, everything. And compare that with the salary ordinance to make sure that they are in compliance. Personnel policy manual, everything related to personnel related issues is under your oversight. And this council needs to take a very hard look, because personnel matters. Personnel budget is more than 2/3 of this budget. So it's not something to play games with. And like I said, there are certain positions. There's also an issue of employees. There's an ordinance on the books that says that no employee can serve 2 full-time positions at the same time. All that needs to be documented. All that needs to be held accountable, because any employee that's being paid for 2 positions owes the city money back. So, take your position seriously. This committee is, other than finance, are the 2 most important committees of this city, of this council. And you have a responsibility to oversee the financial resources and how money is spent in the city. So I hope you would take that position seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm somewhat discombobulated, and meeting is somewhat discombobulated as well. And I understand you're new, and you're this first time you chair a meeting. There are norms that you must follow as well. And what have you. You can't stop your meeting and start checking this one and that one. You here, you set an example for either the public or what are observing you. So, and it does not speak well for your older council members.
Watch the bite.
That here to aid and assist you how a meeting is to operate. And Secondly, if you don't get into an argumentative thing, the state, the individuals are not here, you are not the mayor's boss. The mayor was elected by the people, same as you was elected. We are his boss. And I spoke with him as well. And there's a way you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. So don't get into a colloquy or I'm your boss and I'm this and that or the other. That's not necessary. If you have that, you discuss that with him personally or with your clerk as well. And don't base people out like that, because then you'll get to the place they don't want to help you or cooperate with you. That's not the way government operates. Yes, you're going to have differences, but if you request it, you have to request, you send a request to the mayor that you want these people at your meeting or whatever. You have the freedom of speech, but there's a place and time for it. This is not the place whereas you base somebody out, they're not here, and then he got up and stated what he stated, and for the record as well, and why they were not here, whatever. So those kinds of things, you have to, you're no longer out there in the street now. This is a government which affects people's lives. And I'm not only talking to you, but when I'm speaking, I'm just looking at you, I'm speaking to who are in this room. Because I've been there, sat where you're sitting for over 10 years. We had our differences or whatever, but we had our differences, but we know how to handle those differences that we had. And so what I'm saying to you, when I say you, I'm speaking to the council as a whole. And when I say you, that if you want something done, you got to work with people here. Because you only have one vote, they have one vote. So government you have to get in. You can't listen to everybody talking in your ear and what have you. You have to what the people want and how meetings are conducted. So you don't let no one come in here and take over your meeting. I wish you should be quiet and let me finish. So made me lose my thought. In the high pursuit, I'll just end on this. In the high pursuit, you're right in blocking, but block whereas the car or whomever they're chasing can go through, but go through slowly. And then now today, we have cameras and cars on the person of police, and when they are chasing and get the license plate number or whatever the case may be, identify the person in the car, they don't have to go through all of these chases anymore, call the chases off. And so there are certain things that come under personnel, and certain things does not come under personnel. This is a health and safety matter or what have you. But since no one is addressing that in health and safety, you bring it up, there's no problem. You write in legislation to see that this matter.
You trying to get out of here.
I wish you shut up. And so, and I'll say this on the end because listen to this side over here. You never get it right. But anyway, that's the way legislation and way you should operate and conduct your meeting. All right? And stick to your agenda, what you have on your agenda.
Thank you.
Council.
Speak up, Latif.
My name, Latif Savaz, 145-17 Stratford. And when you're in council meeting and you have a discussion like this, that's healthy for the city. Okay, it's healthy. they sit down, everybody on one page, that's not healthy.
Yeah, something's
Okay?
not right.
Something not right. You know, you speak for the people, speak for the people. You know, and that's your job, to speak for the people. You know, because we got a lot of problems. We got policemen. I called, somebody was in a house across the street from me. So I called the police. It took so long to come, so I went to the store and come back next day. And the guy had left. I said, well, somebody was in the house across the street that didn't supposed to be there. And I just called, you know. And he said, they started looking all in my car, looking for, you know, trying to find something in my car to arrest me. You know, so it's about, you know, this things is happening, and they need to be addressed. You got people scared to call the police because, you know, I would call the police again. You know, he looking all in my car, see if I had anything, drugs or whatever, and I called the police. Why would I? You know, I mean, you know, that's what we're up against. Then, what made me stay here, I got a 90-year-old mother. And I actually seen people come up the street that didn't live in the community, never lived in the community, breaking windows out of abandoned houses. Breaking windows out of abandoned houses. See, that's, nobody come in East Cleveland and break houses unless they was paid. Okay? So things like that you need to look into. Thank you.
First I'll start by saying Cal is pretty much right. So much stuff that needs to be done that hasn't gotten done in the years. It's ridiculous. One being, you know who. It was on council. Didn't see any effective change then. I'm still not seeing much. If you look outside your window, it can tell you how much progress we are taking. The problem, like Latif Shabazz says, is that if we're up here all agreeing and having everybody's on one accord and there's everybody just, you know, agreeing with each other, it's something not right. You know, you could agree to disagree, but you don't need to bow down to the mayor or the chief of staff or any employee or any council person. You don't need to bow down. This is not a friendship social hour. This is about conducting the business of the city, and if something isn't right, it needs to be talked about. It's something called freedom of speech. The mayor didn't like the paper, freedom of the speech, freedom of the press, all that good stuff. That's what makes this country so great, because you are allowed to voice your opinion. You don't like it and you think it's wrong, sue. Good luck, you may have a countersuit for frivolous conduct, but you don't like it, do something differently about it. But you can't say, since she put out a paper that no employee will come to your meeting, that is obstruction of official business. And you can't do that because someone put out a newspaper, the employees won't come until you apologize. I just don't understand it, and that's why we're the laughing stock of the state, of the country, actually. The pay raises have to be approved. You can't just say, I'm going to go give Belinda Cow a $4 an hour pay raise, and it hasn't been approved in the salary ordinance. You can't do that. It's clear as day that we have an incompetent mayor. He doesn't know what he's doing. A corrupt mayor. It's clear as day. Everyone knows it. I don't care who tries to defend him. Was that my time?
No.
Okay, good. No, the charter says 3, so I'm going to take my 3. So, you know, it's really sad. We're moving backwards, and the mayor should be ashamed of himself for saying that, because you put out a piece of paper, which is freedom of speech. No employees will come to your meetings. I can't wait to get that tape, because that's obstruction. He can't do that. The criminal complaint will be filed. Whether you're on this council or not, you could be removed. The paper will continue. It's going to get, wait till you see the next one.
Hello, Vita.
Okay, I was wondering what the question is. Or where do we go if you have a complaint?
And
If
really,
you have a
Rita,
complaint about police, and what's the paperwork that we fill out, and where is it located? Where can we get it from?
we'll answer that.
Hmm?
We'll answer that when you get through in our remarks. We'll answer.
Oh, okay. Because I did go to the, if it's in the police department, then, you know, I would kind of have some concern about that, because, you know, being as sometimes records are being not accounted for, you know, when you go and try to get your records and it's not there, or there's no police reports filed, then you kind of wonder whether or not, you know, other things could be altered or manipulated as well. So I think it probably wouldn't be a great place for anything to be if you're trying to do a complaint against the department, and the paperwork that you need to get is in the same department that's doing some scandalous things. But anyway, I'm disappointed because I find that not all house calls or reports are made by police, and I think it should be something that should be addressed real seriously, because I find that it appears as if it causes reason for them to contribute to crime happening in the city. Because they're not making reports, or not taking down certain evidence, or not accepting evidence, or not making certain things, being serious about certain calls, then anything can happen. So, mainly, I'm kind of upset because I haven't heard from a friend, and I wanted to report her possibly missing. If they did, you know, try to find out to see whether or not she is still around. And it took me a whole week to get something really seriously done about it. And then when I called back, I was told that I didn't give them the apartment number to this person, and that is not true. So they're avoiding taking care of situations that can be very serious. And to this day, I don't even know if my friend is actually missing. So I just want to address that.
Another person. All right, go ahead, come on.
Twan Billings. I just wanted to say, our mechanic Frank, he has been keeping those cars rolling for quite a long time. You know, you've been here with him for a while. You know, Frank come out his pockets. You know, was talking to a brother and found out there's a lot of things that you know, people have been doing when the city was really at its low end. But you know, maybe y'all could consider giving him a proclamation or something like that, because I mean, you know, if it wasn't for him, to be honest with you, I mean, before, you know, the new council people came in place, I mean, when East Cleveland was really, really going through struggles and money wasn't coming in here at all, that man, I watched that man several times buy brake pads and do all kind of stuff. And I think that, you know, nobody never recognized him from what 2 councils to this council here. Nobody.
I'll tell you, we did.
Yeah.
He just to, not to cut you off on you. I asked him when he was dealing with a car connected with the city that we were going to do a proclamation for him. And he told me he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, he stayed humble, but I think, you know, I mean, you know, that's something to consider. I mean, because if it wasn't for him, you know, a lot of those vehicles wouldn't be out on the street, you know, to help with what's going on out there. So, you know, that's just something I just
And we appreciate him, believe that.
Yeah, I know I do.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for the remarks. Now,
remarks from council and the mayor on the public remarks.
If I may, Madam Chairperson, I just want to say, as a representative of the mayor and the legal perspective in terms of the requirement that the law director be here at the meetings, and I also am here in order to preserve the integrity of the legal process. I just want to say that when one criticizes the charter and for people not really obeying the charter, one should respect the time limits that are in the charter. The charter gives 3 minutes, and that's for a reason, so that each person can have an opportunity to be heard. The mayor has 5 minutes, and I want you to make sure that I stay within my 5 minutes. There's several issues that have come up. One with reference to the, I guess, the chief of staff position. I know that the chief of staff is monitoring the directors very closely, making us accountable with the charge that we have in order to make sure that our duties are being performed. We have weekly meetings on Monday mornings in which we have to submit weekly reports as to the progress and the achievement of our goals and objectives. He is also serving in the capacity of service director. I must get 4 or 5 alerts, all of us do, on our phone whenever there's a street light out, whenever there's a severe pothole problem. So he's serving in that capacity as well. We don't really have a service director. In addition, we don't have an economic director. I think that an economic development director, I know that Councilor Martin is working closely with him in order to try to develop some of the areas of the city for commercial purposes, not only for commercial purposes, but for the provision of affordable housing. We don't want gentrification, and he's dead on it. He's right on top of that topic. Any developer, we've had several developers come in that try to push gentrification type ideals, then he is very adverse to that. I'm not speaking for him as from a professional, from a personal perspective, because he stays on us. I mean, he keeps our noses close to the grindstone, and I have to applaud him for that, even though sometimes we think it's a little too close and a little too tight, and that maybe he's usurping some of our roles and responsibilities. In fact, I've said that I would make him, if I could, an honorary lawyer. In the last negotiations, and I want to thank each and every one of you with reference to the rental registration. We just brought in an additional $61,000 because you went out on faith and you approved that legislation, even though, Councilor Gowdy, I know you had some kind of reservations about it. You voted for it, it's settled, and we are bringing in tens of thousands of dollars just this week from landlords and property owners that never would pay East Cleveland anything but nominal amounts. They didn't want to pay, but because, and he was part of those legal negotiations last week, and I talked to one attorney this morning that said he really wanted to sue me, but the property owners got tired, and so they just went ahead and paid. This is not a corrupt mayor. He's a hardworking individual. He's here every day, and this afternoon we are working very, very closely, and I want to invite you to the sessions that are about to start with a professor from Cleveland State, Dr. Ronnie Dunn, in terms of sensitivity sessions. We're going to go over racism, discrimination, prejudice. Do any of you know the difference between prejudice and discrimination, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, all those kinds of things. This mayor is working closely with the professor from Cleveland State in order to make sure each and every, all of the platoons, A, B, C, and D, that's mandatory for each police officer to attend. And thank you.
What time are these meetings?
They're just getting set up now, and I just want to say that as far as the police chase is concerned, I think it's in health and safety. But I had a brief due to the Ohio Supreme Court on the case that is not over yet with reference to the 137 shot case, and my reply brief is due March 11th, and that's still ongoing. We still have one person that we want to make accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to say something. Far too often, my 27 years comes up, and it's usually in a negative capacity. I'm up here like anyone. I run, I get elected. If you're dissatisfied with me, just vote me out. But if you don't step up to the plate, and that happens so often, it ain't working. What started this meeting off, unfortunately, is a negative, is this newsletter. Now, the newsletter I have nothing to do with. I've seen it. But Mays hit it right on the nail. And this is where I'm at from all my years of experience. You get more done working with people than fighting them all the time. You put it honey and vinegar, okay. You got to work with the mayor. If he tells his employees not to show, you got a problem. We're not making any progress. I'm at a point between some years not to be fighting all the time. Okay, that's not getting anything done. I have watched Michael Smedley, whether you like him or not, work with these corporate people, get these people here in the best interest of the city of East Cleveland. Whether he got a job description or not, you can't deny that. We've got to work together. True. It boils down to that. Another thing I want to bring up, to show you how government can be so slow. I've been working for 4 months, Willie Hemmings, to get some legislation to reduce the speed on Euclid. Okay? That's why I haven't dealt with the chase, because I thought we had our last meeting was great, and I thought we was going to have it, and it didn't work. But I don't get discouraged because I'm focused on what I'm doing. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a purpose. So if we don't work together, we're not going to get anything done. I am saying publicly that we got to reach out to the administration and sit down and get them to talk at the table. If not, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere. I don't take these things personally. We have too much to do. We are a unique city in the state of Ohio that's run by African Americans. They want us to fall. The term gentrification is when they come in here, they buy up everything and price you out of here. And they're on the cups right now. They're developers that are ready to come in here because we have land and we have location. So this pointing the finger and negative stuff, I ain't about that. I'm about getting something done. And I see us making progress. I see us making progress. I just thought it was very unfortunate that nobody showed up. But I've dealt with over the years, Dr. Guy. Sometimes he wouldn't show to my meetings and that type of thing. But you don't take it personal or it'll take you out of here. Another thing. Pointing the finger and calling people corrupt and all that is just unproductive if you can't prove it. You got to be careful what you say. You got to be careful what you say. All right? We are here. We got people who've been here for 30, 40 years. They're basically locked in, etc. The developers are coming here now. They want to develop. And unfortunately, you know what? Too many of the developers aren't African Americans. That's what we need to change. Now, I challenge anyone And I've been challenged many, many times that if you dissatisfied me, I challenge you to run against me. I challenge you to run for office. Some people were picked to be on this council, and they didn't make it on this council, but they never ran again. Okay, I'm not a quitter. My grandmother didn't raise me that way. I back down to nobody. Nobody. Last. Willie Him has just articulated that we got $61,000 coming in. That's a collaboration between the administration and the council. We passed the legislation. Nothing happens. That's why it's 5 of us and 1 mayor. So we can't get anywhere. We're fighting and we're exercising vinegar instead of honey. So I am saying, reach out to him. Yes, I'm saying that. Okay? Because people come to the mayor. Ernest Lipton won't come nowhere near us. They come to the mayor first. Then we may get connected. But if we don't work together, whether we agree or not, we're not going to get anywhere. Okay? So we got some cleaning up to do here. I'll say it publicly. We need to work with the mayor. We need to clean up the job descriptions. Badges, excellent idea. We had badges at one time, Dr. Guy. We had badges. That's a good idea. Let me wrap it up. So, I'm open. I've been challenged. I've been threatened. It's been an experience over the 26 years. But my head is blade but unbowed. I am in this to win it. I have spoken. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank my colleagues. Dr. God, thank you, Madam Law Director. Cameraman for getting the news out to the people of East Cleveland. That's very, very important. These committee meetings are very, very important. Last but not least, as I say each and every week, each and every day, thank you to our neighbors, our residents, great people of East Cleveland for coming out to Councilwoman Gotti First Personnel and Appointments Committee meeting. I truly hope that you continue to come to all the committee meetings. They are all very, very important, and exercise your right to express yourself. No matter who agreed, no matter who disagreed. The problem has been for far too long that not enough people stand up and speak for what they believe in. Few little notes that I jotted down. I would not be opposed to ID badges. As Councilor Martin stated, we can't. We start with us first. Right. We start with us first on that. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all, and definitely wouldn't be opposed to seeing everyone, every employer, everyone who come through East Cleveland who's an employer or elected official have an ID badge. That's no problem. Police chase, as most of you know, I've been on the front line as far as 137 shots and police chasing and Cleveland police chase coming in here disrespecting our citizens, our elected officials, our elders, our young people. And the fact is that the policy that you read, that's our policy. Our policy is not Cleveland's policy. We have to come to the table with Cleveland. And whether those conversations get heated or not, we must represent the people of East Cleveland in those conversations because they must stop, like you said, three deceased people. 3 deceased people. Vita Syed, Miss Saeed, she left. I was going to ask her to come to the health and safety meeting because I know that the officers, they do show up to the health and safety meeting. Lack of response, that must be addressed. I'm sure I'm positively sure that as Personnel Appointments Committee meeting go on and chair get adjusted, everything will work out. Thank you. That concludes my comment. Oh, after this meeting, if anyone interested, the prosecutors meeting that's held down the first Tuesday of the month, that's going on right now, so I'm head on to there after that. So thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my comment.
I thank each and every one of you from coming out tonight, and we had to address a lot of things because it needs to be addressed. And, Omaze, I really want to thank you for, speaking in a tone where I really needed to understand what was going on in this situation, because I feel like the paper that I have is not a negative paper. It's the fact that, you know, things did happen in our city, and people need to know what's going on. And also, I wanted to address to the police officer, the chief police of No Chase, what would he think about the policy, and how can we adjust the policy to make it stricter, so there won't be no chasing into our city. People is dying in our city. And far as the mayor walking out, well, if the mayor choose not to work with me, I got to work around him anyway, because the people put me in the seat. And I got to work with the mayor if he worked with me, you know, to have some kind of balance. Because speaking up, things get done. When you don't speak up, nothing gets done. So that's where I'm at in mind. And as far as the remark from all the people that came, your voice is not in vain. You know, you are very important. And I tell you, you keep coming, we keep learning, working together as council as a whole. That's what we should be working on. And yes, I know that I'm supposed to be working on policies, and that's what we need. We need stricter policies for our city. Thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I move that the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Amen.
Mr. Smith on the hot